the one obvious thing. Excelsior!
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo, and Monkey behind the keyboard here. We have a great show scheduled for you, as always. And with us, Jar Jar. How's it going?
Hey, it's Tuesday night, Leo. Did you know? Did you hear? We're all here to play. I can't wait. It's going to be a good night. We've got Drew and Kari waiting and somebody else very special. So I'm going to kick it over to Kari.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Ratatosker and I are here to hang out, have some good geeky comic book fun. He's hitting the crown tonight. Feeling left out, but I didn't share last night with him. But yeah, tonight is going to be so much fun. I read so many comics, or reread so many comics, and read so many comics to get ready for this, because we have a great guest. You're just going to love this show. It's so awesome. Ooh. Drew, tell us what's going on.
Oh, hey, everybody. How you doing? This is all about looking at life a different way. So now you can... Damn it. That apparently my phone didn't want me to continue that train of thought.
Well, Drew, if you didn't use your phone, that problem wouldn't happen.
You know what, Leo? If I needed your opinion on why I hear a beeping sound in the background or how to improve my microphone, I'll ask it. Otherwise, keep your fingers on the keyboard and shut it. We have a great show planned. We got a lot of news. We have a fantastic story that is a personal favorite of mine. And the guest is someone I've seen enough to say that I actually know him. So everybody, our guest, writer, artist, creator, you've seen him on Teeny Titans, Itty Bitty Hellboy, Ghost and the Owl, Dead Man Tells Spooky Tales. He's the person who puts the awe in Aw Yeah for Aw Yeah Comics. Everybody, Mr. Franco.
Hi there.
Oh yeah.
How are you? Thanks for having me. Indeed. I was afraid I was going to get a little seasick there with Drew's camera, but I'm good now.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, the critic.
One of these days we'll get you to use your laptop, Drew.
It's not me. It's time and space. They are the final frontier. Yeah. So hi everyone. Hi Franco.
Hi.
Hey there. Sorry, there are some technical things here. So you all talk. Go.
All right. Well, I'm going to go right into interviewing Franco.
Ooh,
so,
let's get
Franco.
started.
Yeah, your art it feels more young and popish usually, but that's really deceiving. Is it intentional the way you draw that it looks kiddish, but yet it has a very not adult, but complete feel to it? I've seen some of your art, like a Nightcrawler you did a few weeks, maybe few months ago at this point now. I can't even remember the interview I saw you doing it on, but the colors and everything, it's very, very your own style.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks. I try to make it my own style so people know it's me, but I have a very very I don't want to offend anybody, but like almost ADHD in my style, where I change things up quite a bit. Some of you may know or not know that I was an art teacher for 24 years. I just retired as a high school art teacher. So I would employ a lot of different art styles. I would teach about Renaissance art. I would teach Impressionism. I would teach pop art. I would teach surreal. So I would kind of go into these styles in my own artwork as well. I found a style that works for me, but I also can draw very cartoony. I can draw very realistic, but it's just kind of whatever strikes me in the moment. So, yeah, whatever you saw that day may not be the same thing the next day.
It seemed like a mix of the two style. Actually, like that looks very wow.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite Stacy.
You can do like very young, but also very like adult. It's very it's I lose my words.
Well, good, because the pictures are supposed to speak for you.
And Frank, it's so funny that the teaching aspect, because one of my best friends, his cousin, was actually one of your students.
Oh, that's right.
And he yeah, my one of my best friends, Leroy, and he messaged me. He was like, "Yo, yeah, you're friends with Franco." It was like, he's my cousin's favorite teacher, hands down. And I was like, I'm gonna tell him. And guys, you don't know this about Franco, but sometimes I'll tell him, like, and his response is, "Oh, cool." Like, it's just like he acknowledges it, and he's like, "Oh, it's rad." It's like when we're talking to Art, he's like, Art's like, "Oh yeah, man, all right, cool, all right, right on."
Yeah.
But yeah, so everybody, art teachers, everybody, you never know.
Oh,
They
yeah.
could they could be Eisner Award winners, you never know.
How difficult was that as a career?
Teaching?
Yeah, well, high school mainly.
Yeah, it's weird because if you speak to teachers of elementary or teachers of secondary, high school or elementary, it's definitely a mindset. Like I would not be able to teach elementary. Here in New York State, I was certified as K-12, which means the entire grade system. So you have to get certified as an art teacher. That's not true for every teacher, but art teachers, music teachers, you get certified for K-12. And when I did my student teaching very many moons ago, my first placement was with an elementary school, and I did not like it. I came home the first day, and my wife was like, "How was it?" And I'm like, "It was awful. There were kids, and they had snots, and they were hugging me, and it was not a thing that was pleasant." And I said, "I don't think I'm going to be a teacher." But then, a few months later, you switch over to secondary school or high school, and it was different. The kids still had boogers, but they they didn't hug you and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and,
they didn't want to be near you.
Yeah, and you can kind of direct them a little bit more, and the artwork was a little bit more advanced, obviously.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, this I can do, and that's where I wound up.
Yeah.
Well, art when you're in high school isn't mandatory, so it's people who are actually interested in it that are showing up for your classes. I did a lot of tutoring, and I have a lot of teachers in my family, and it was always like, oh God, like my dad was a math teacher, and sitting down and watching people just being in math classes with a lot of people, they're just like, I hate this. Why am I here? Why do I have to do this? And it was just like, no, do you so it has to be more fun I could never teach. You sir have the patience of a saint.
Yeah, it was definitely, most of the kids wanted to be there, but I did have some classes where you had to take it in order to graduate high school because they needed an elective. So those were the more challenging classes. When you have a class full of kids that want to be there, the day goes by much easier. But yeah.
And Franco, when I was a substitute teacher, I had been an art teacher, so I definitely agree with you. That is sometimes when it's great, the period flies by. If you got to spend most of the episode wrangling, little Ghost Riders. It's like, oh God,
No,
it's only been 10 minutes.
Shangri-La.
Oh.
Yeah,
But-
Svengoolie was a fun book to work on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wicked cool. I didn't even know that one.
Yes. But so like I said, Itty Bitty Hellboy. I mean, I've talked to you a bunch because me being a huge Hellboy fan, I discovered this by happenstance. And the first thing I remember saying is, my God, this is the most adorably thing that ever came out of hell. And
You
I
were
was
looking for an opportunity to get us all to read it.
well, yeah. I mean, when we were looking for guests, I was like, I know somebody. He's pretty. He's fun. He's personable. You know, if Art keeps working with him, he's got to be chill. So Itty Bitty, and you know, I've talked to you when we did our interview at Terrificon about, you know, how it came to be. So I'm not going to go over that because then that means people won't check out our page more to understand what the hell I'm talking about. Spoiler.
Oh, I'm not allowed to ask that.
Oh no, you can't. No,
About Mike. Oh, damn. Okay.
2 more questions. But you know what? The one thing I would say is, like, reading of the characters, you had Hellboy, you had Liz, you had Lobster Johnson,
Lobster Johnson, yeah.
and Noah and Smitty. You had Hectate, you had Roger, you had Baba Yaga, and then Kate
Like
Court.
an interesting look for Baba Yaga, by the way.
Yeah. So was there any
Baba
character
Yaga.
in Hellboy that you guys maybe wanted to use but didn't? I mean, you also have the villains Carl and Rasputin,
Right.
the ghost, of course. Were there any Hellboy characters that you guys like, oh man, we would do this, but just didn't? You weren't able to find the story?
No, not really. One of the things that happens when Art and I write together is that we tend to write a lot.
Right.
So there's a lot of material that gets cut out of the book.
Mhm.
You know, working with Mike Mignola and Dark Horse was a great experience. Didn't think I'd ever be able to, you know, get the chance to do that. So, but Mike was very cool about everything. There were no parameters or limits put on us for anything, and we had, you know, access to all the characters. I think the only thing we were told was that, you know, the characters couldn't look like they did in the movie. So, you know, we couldn't have Liz modeled after what she looked like in the movie, because then they get into rights with, you know, the production company and Guillermo del Toro. So that was the only real limit that was put on us. But as long as we were true to the comic book characters, we were allowed to really do anything we wanted.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Mike was the one who reached out to you guys about the project, right? It wasn't you reaching out, hey, is this okay? We do this? And it's like, oh, sure. He was the one who's like, oh, I've seen your work. I'm a fan. Would you be, you know, would you
Well,
be?
it was an editor at Dark Horse at the time who was his editor and was also a fan of ours, and he didn't really know us. You know, we didn't know him besides his incredible work.
Right.
And you know, there was a package of stuff, from my understanding, that we got together that was sent to him, and he took a look at it at home, and I don't know if he was, you know, keen on doing it or not, but I do know that his wife and his daughter, once they opened up the package and saw the artwork and what we had planned to do, they're basically like, you're doing this. You don't have a choice. So tell them, you know, that Art and Franco are going to do this. So
yeah, because I remember at the time I saw this fantastic cover that Mignola had done that was like his characters meeting your characters, and just had that trademark, oh crap, crossover. And I was like, my God, that's the greatest cover.
Yeah, that was actually a limited edition print that we did for our Oh Yeah Comic stores. So he came out and signed at our Skokie store, and in order to kind of, you know, have a thing that we can all sign, we created the print with Hellboy by Mike and Hellboy by Art. So that was a fun thing.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny that I didn't realize you guys had done a kind of a sequel. The Were Jaguar was like the 2. because I'd read the first one. Like I still have my copy, and it was so funny. I was flipping through it, and I was like, because I have the drawing that you did, and I have it right here. So everybody, very adorable. That and I was
throw it back up, Drew.
Oh, yep. And then I have the inside. I have Franco drawing one of my favorites, Roger the homunculus. And then I was like, oh, wow, Franco signed it, but not art. And then I forgot. I looked in the back, and there's an itty bitty by art there. I was like, oh, okay, good. I was like, I wouldn't leave art like that. Come on, man. Like, equal. They got the thumbs up.
Is the thing with Roger's underwear like? Is that something in the normal? Because I'm not a normal Hellboy reader, so is that something in the Hellboy comics, or what was going on there?
Yeah, that was actually a design on the character. And,
no kidding.
Yeah, it was just a design of the character, and and when Art and I were talking about stuff, we're like, it looks like underwear. It looks like a big lock and key with underwear. Draw your references as you will there. But we started making fun of it as underwear, and we just took off in a direction, and that's what wound up in the book.
Roger's got a chastity belt. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but you did. So there.
I didn't want to say it, but I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Here you go.
No, I was just saying that's not a terribly bad word or anything.
No.
Absolutely not. We're not. This network isn't owned by Disney. We can talk about such things.
Yes, we can get dirty.
But I think the other thing that I love is that you did one of my favorite changes to Lobster Johnson, who's in Hellboy is a serious character. He's very grim. You gave him an actual lobster, Smitty. And to this day, I'm just thinking about it. I'm just like, I was like, you know what? It makes sense. Lobster Johnson would have a sidekick named Smitty.
Well, that's what we thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because his origin is really unclear as to how he became Lobster Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, with a name like Lobster Johnson, how could you not have a lobster sidekick? So
right.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
And even another, like, again, you guys sprinkled in little references here or there. Like we just saw Hellboy with pancakes, and I know that that's a reference to the famous pancake story because I own that statue that you guys did way back, the Itty Bitty Hellboy pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh,
there's a statue?
Yeah, this company.
You got to be more prepared for all these things, Drew. You're going to bring them up.
Man, I thought I did my reading, but damn. There's pancake statues.
Yeah, I thought I was doing good this week by reading the extra stuff, but Drew beats us all. He's like, hold on, I've got a statue of Itty Bitty Hellboy of all things. Not just Hellboy, but Itty Bitty.
Oh my gosh.
There it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's so cute.
And
where can somebody obtain something like that?
I bought this on a website. I completely forgot what it is, but it's a site that sells a lot of licensed merch. They do like Lock and Key and Chew and stuff. I forgot their name of it.
Skeleton Crew or something like that.
Yeah, Skeleton Crew. That's what it was. Skeleton Crew. So yeah, they had it, and I was like, not only that, but I know these guys, and it included a drawing that Art did of Hellboy and pancakes, and it's been in the bulletin board in my kitchen. In every kitchen I've ever called home, I use that, and every time I make pancakes, I look at it, I'm like, yeah.
Actually, it's cool that you have one because those are limited edition. I don't think they're available anymore. I don't know if they're actually still available or not.
No,
like Skeleton Crew Studios has it up. Looks like it's $84.
Oh,
yep.
Wow, awesome,
pretty cool.
Yeah. Go get 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. They're saying less than 10 are left.
Well, there you
look
go.
at that. Very limited.
I wasn't lying. It was a limited edition.
But and for everybody watching live right now, I just put a link in the chat. So definitely go check that out if you're looking to be one of the lucky less than 10.
And And I will also say another great thing, guys. If you ever go to a con and Franco's there, not only is he greatly approachable, but he does wonderful commissions. And I know this because for years, when I was really heavy in the con circuit, I saw him at enough cons that me and my group of friends, we had like a running joke that your costume wasn't official until Franco drew a drawing of it. And like, for instance, you had this, which I'm still very proud of, little itty bitty Hellboy right there. This,
Nice.
yep. I have a one of him as an adult by Chris DeRusso that just literally is. And then this was my favorite, just Roger with
Oh,
me,
wow.
Zap Brannigan celebrating no pants.
Right.
Because pants are overrated.
That's pretty
But-
cool, Drew.
But in my apartment we have like an art wall. We have this nice little collection because in Harrison, New York is our comic book shop. So whenever they have events and creators, we'll go and get sketches. And yep, we've just been adding to that for years. So everybody make friends with artists because you get cool stuff at reasonable prices too.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah.
But
Hey, where'd you guys come up with the name for the comic shop, by the way? Oh, yeah. Like, did you guys like?
That was mostly art's everyday vernacular.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you say something like, hey man, your shoes untied. Oh yeah. And he would tie his shoes because it would be like a recognition thing, or when you need to say hi to someone, it's oh yeah, man. So it just came out of that. So like when we decided we were gonna open the shop and name the shop, Art's like, well, what are we gonna name it? And I'm like, what do you think we're gonna name it? And it's oh yeah, comics. So there's no other name that's gonna go with it. So
It's perfect. Like,
Yeah. And it's such a great store, especially because you guys make a point to get a lot of creators and not just like big names. Like I've met quite a few people at events that you guys have had, but like up and comers, indie people, and everybody is just so pleasant and really chill. And of course, the one in Harrison is run by the great Mark Hammond, the man of a million stories. And it's just it's such a really great place. And again, I see kids there all the time, and it's always nice to see. And it's tough. I know running a comic store can be challenging, especially with the market being ups and downs. The things that people don't think about, like, oh, that you run that business. I was like, yeah, but it's still a business, and you gotta so it's a lot. So, but it's such a great place. And I always love just stopping in and just shooting the shit with Mark. And he's, again, always has a nice group of people. We're always talking about comics, and I could just lay back and chime in occasionally with an opinion every once.
Thanks for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's always been great. So everybody, support your local shops. Don't get a file and then forget about it, because that's bad.
Leo.
Hey, I pick up my books every time. It's
Every
just
time.
I may let them, build until
Build
they
up.
call me.
They're like, are you
We're
still
long
alive?
This year, man. Just
You know,
showing.
But
So do you still read comics, Franco? Like, say, like, I don't know, Batman or anything like that?
I want to say yes. The answer is I still buy weekly comics. I still buy them. Now, whether I read them or not is an entirely different answer, because I have a whole stack of them on my nightstand that I intend to read, and the stack just keeps getting bigger. And I occasionally get to read one or two, but just time recently hasn't allowed for such. I did read. What did I read the day before yesterday? I just read Wolverine versus Predator, which was new a couple weeks ago or something like that. So I just picked that up. Yeah,
good read.
So yes and no is the answer.
Okay. How do you? Oh, go ahead, Leo.
No, I was just going to say the good thing about that, you wait until a story is complete, then you can just knock it off all at once.
You would think that in theory that's how it should work, because I'm a completist. So if you pick up if it's a 6-issue story arc and I have 1, 3, 4, and 5, and I'm missing 2, I'll search out 2, and I won't read the rest
Right.
until I get it. So, and then what'll happen is I'll screw up, not screw, I'll misplace where it is somewhere, because I usually keep comics in 2 or 3 different places in the house, and then I can't find an issue, and then I'll wind up buying the trade, and then I won't read the trade because that's on a stack of stuff. And then I'll go back and I'll find the single issues, and I'm like, it's just like an endless thing. And then I just bring them back to the shop and give them to Mark and say, here, just sell them. What am I going to do with all these?
Yeah.
Well, then
So it's
I-
an endless vicious cycle.
Yeah.
you get your crossover events where you're like sitting on a bed and you're like, okay, I have 5 stacks of this over here, this one here. Shit, I have to go buy another one so
Right.
that I know what happened in this thing. And it's like it takes up 1 page where somebody says, hey, Joe. And that was like the entire reference, but you had to go buy the comic for it. And it's just,
Or they
it's
make
so
the
touchy
crossover
feely.
event where it's required, where you got to read, all the
Like
different,
Gotham War.
like,
Yeah.
Guys, we talked
I
about
had to. I had to.
okay, guys, Leo, before we got to get back to our guests. Let's not be rude here. The Gotham War is like The Sopranos. It's over. Find another book.
Done.
I already read it. Batman 139 came out, and it's,
Yeah.
Hit the Ghost the Owl. It's
Cool.
awesome.
But Franco, I did want to ask, are there any plans? Would you guys do like an Itty Bitty Hellboy 3, or are you guys just kind of working on your other stuff? Like, is there ever an option? Like, if you guys come with a story, would you do that?
We would definitely be open to it. All these things are really driven by sales and availability, and
Right.
and there's not just, if it was me, I'd be like, yes, but it's a bunch of people that are involved with all these things all the time. So I would never say no, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I understand. I mean, and another book. Again, I just seeing all this, I feel like I'm reading it again, and I'm just getting distracted because I'm like, oh, look at that joke.
Oh, it makes me giggle. Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah. But another project, especially that I thoroughly love that you've done, and Kari will back me up on this one, is the Teeny Titans, like this adorable ridiculousness. And why I love the Treehouse years, as I like to call them, I also loved when you had the school, because that was such a great opportunity to reference the villains.
Mhm.
Like it was just so funny because I'm like, oh my gosh, like you have Deathstroke as the principal, Lobo as the gym teacher,
Right.
Darkseid as the lunch lady, and I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, yes, this would like in my head. I'm like, why wouldn't this work? And then it's just so like it's so hilarious, and I think that's what I just love is like your stuff is there's kids will love it. Like I would gladly show this to like a niece and nephew, like, oh my god, Teen Titans. I'm like, yes, read, but all us older fans are like, that's cute. So yeah, go Kari.
Oh,
You
Jenny
said more
put
of
up a comment earlier about how all of her kids love your comics and you're a real inspiration for her Cassie,
Oh,
for
thank you.
her artwork, and she's very talented and stuff. So it's like it's great that she has something that she can read that is on. I don't want to say like I don't want to make kids be like kids aren't stupid. We enjoy these as well. But like you have something that's written so that it doesn't get too too dark or something for children and can still be like good artwork and things for them to be inspired by. So,
Yeah. Well,
You
our
wanna-
philosophy was always, well, thank you very much. Yeah, our philosophy with comics was always like, especially with the type of artwork that we do, but even the more, I guess, adult quote unquote artwork for older people, we always approached it as this might be someone's first comic. And
right.
people tend to put us into a category like, oh, those guys do kids comics, and I will tend to disagree with them every single time and say, we don't do kid comics so much as we do all ages comics. And all ages to me doesn't mean kids, it means literally all ages. With Tiny Titans, we had literally kids that learned how to read on the book. We had kids that didn't know how to read yet, but it was read to them by their parents or grandparents,
Mhm.
and we had grandparents reading it who got all the in jokes, and had a great time reading it with their grandkids or with their kids.
Mhm.
We were asked a lot, well, like, how much research did you guys do when we were doing Tiny Titans? And we never did any research. We we were fans of the book,
That's
and
awesome.
we knew all these characters, and we knew where to go and stuff like that. And sometimes our editor would ask, well, what's this? And we're like, oh, that happened during this story arc or that story arc. So we were fans of the material. We're fans of comics. We wouldn't be working in comics or writing comics or drawing comics or having a comic book store or going to conventions if we weren't fans of comics. So that's always our number one thing.
Well, you're on the right show, Franco, because we are
Awesome.
also fans of comics, and we also enjoy when all four of us end up at the same show. We're like, wow, we're not in a box anymore. There's so much space, you know. And then we realize how tall some of us are.
Are you a fan of any of the old '90s gimmick comics, like say fully metal embossed, or doing the 3D covers or anything like that? Does anything like that suck you in?
Well, it had its time and place, and I recognize it for what it was. But I was always the story guy. Give me a good story, give me good artwork, give me a good cover. If you had good story and good artwork inside, and you had a fancy cover, okay. But I was mostly interested in the story and the artwork.
Makes sense. Well, I think another reason we bring that up is because like comics always goes through fads, and we feel that right now we're seeing a fad where it's just an oversaturated
huge fad
variant covers. Like we cover news every week, and there's literally at least 6 out of if we do 12 stories, probably half of them are someone had a variant cover. Oh, here's a collection of variants. And it's just overwhelming to us because we're like, we tally them up. We're like, well, 94 variants this week. I'm like, who's buying that?
Right. I have visions of days in the future when you're going through the back issue bin, because whenever I would do that when I was missing an issue, I'd be like, oh, that's the one I need. But I can just imagine like 6 or 7 different variants going, wait, which one is it? This is issue 27, but is this the issue 27 I need? Or with Marvel renumbering everything, I'm like, well, which issue 27 is this?
Yeah.
Volume 1 again.
Yeah.
You just did that so you could make 15 more variant covers. That's the only reason you made it one again.
Yeah, I remember
exactly why.
I remember somebody talking to me about, it was like, the number 1 in a comic means nothing anymore. Back in the day, like number 1 was like, wow. Now I'm like, we're back at number 1, and I'm like, oh god.
Mm-hmm.
And then
ran out of adjectives, that's the problem.
We're back to the original renumbering, and I'm just like,
well, it's a Wednesday. We need to reboot Spider-Man again.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of Spider-Man, so Kari, you were watching Franco and a couple of his artistic collaborators / friends during our show, and they were talking about Spider-Man, right? One of the Across the Spider-Verse movies.
Yes, Leo had actually pulled up one of the issue that he was drawing, which was it's like the second picture, I think, was the Spider-Gwen that you were drawing. You weren't happy with her mouth, but then you put in teeth and everything worked out. It was great.
That's true.
Well, you know,
and like I remember, you're like, I drew Spider-Gwen. Just like I was watching your show. I stalk people. It's what I do. Don't worry. I don't get invasive or anything.
She's a fan first, then a stalk. I mean, what? No.
Yeah,
we're all friends now.
Right. It's a streaming show, and you could catch them on the Oh Yeah Comics YouTube channel, because they're archived there. But it's catching up with Franco that I do every couple of weeks or so, and my whole premise behind the show is I get together with an artist friend or that I know well or don't know very well, and we get together and we sit and we chat and try and catch up on something pop culture, movie or comics or something, and we chat, and the premise is kind of like we're both sitting at a convention, because if you're set up next to an artist, you're drawing for people, you're talking to people, but there's some downtime usually, and you get to know the person next to you. So that's what we do, and it's drawing live, so I don't know if a drawing is going to be to my liking while I'm drawing it or when I'm finished, and sometimes it's just not working, and I'm like, ooh, that one wasn't working for me until Chris Giarusso, who was on the show with me, said, "Oh, maybe you should add some teeth," and then it happened to work out. So
Right. And on the show, you guys were talking about, I believe it was the end of one of the movies. Was it Across or
yeah, it
Beyond?
was the last Spider-Verse movie, and
Right.
yeah, Gwen. Spoiler, because Gwen
Mm-hmm.
apparently turns to someone and says, "Are you in?" And it's not shown who it is,
Mhm.
and we speculated on who it could be or what it could be.
Yeah. So did you guys land on any options? And Kari said that Reddit had some ideas. So did you guys come up with any good theories?
Yeah, but they're just that theories, you know. So it'll be fun to see what actually pans out. But if you want the theories, you're gonna have to go watch the show, Drew.
Oh,
Sorry.
damn.
Yeah.
Damn it. I was trying to get the TLDR, man. Because Kari had told me that, and she asked me, because I've seen the movie, and I'm also a big Spider-Verse fan, so I've read, and I was checking them. I was like, oh my God, what am I? And she was like, who do you think it was? And I came up with the theory. I thought it could be the Uncle Ben Spider-Man.
Mm.
You know, from that one world where it was Uncle Ben who got bit instead of Peter. And then, spoiler, everybody, that Uncle Ben is from a universe where the entire world was decimated due to nuclear fallout from a world war. So the only thing besides, he's one of the few survivors besides like irradiated giant monster cockroaches. I think it's very weird.
So that's why you need a Spider-Man in that universe.
Yeah,
All the
exactly.
cockroaches are running around. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, natural predators and stuff. You know,
just real quick, the latest one is Across the Spider-Verse, right?
Right.
Yes.
There's actually a part of it actually pops in on the new Spider-Man game. You're collecting the little spider bots, and when you collect them all, it opens a tunnel into another Spider-Verse. And there's a character from the movie in there. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. Nice. Did not know that. But I thought that would be the cool one because I'm thinking like, you know, somebody with a really strong presence in the Spider-Verse, you know, general. I was like, man, Uncle Ben would just rock that. And that would be so cool because who would expect that? You know, so that was my theory. So maybe if I'm right, I don't know.
Who knows?
I'll get the Nostradamus Award for predicting that shit. But
Reddit
I'm talking.
suggested. Oh, shit. I always thought I'm talking.
No, I'm talking too much. I'm good. Let Leo and Kari talk.
Reddit suggested the 1999 cartoon Spider-Man. They also suggested.
Well, he was in the movie though.
Yeah. It's true. We did see him.
They were saying that it's what she decided. Some people said that she was auditioning people for her band, and other people said that she was, you know, leading the crew against the rest of the Spider Force to go and save Miles, even though everybody was like, "No, don't do it. You're just gonna mess things up worse." And so there were all these different ideas of people that she was inviting to come with to go do that with her, but none of them really had a full solid like, yeah, this is definitely it. The guy who said the one who said the 1999 Spider-Man was like, it's all over the internet, but I didn't see it anywhere other than in his comment. So
the fun thing about that is that it's really open to interpretation and open to anybody. So it could even be Luke Skywalker. You don't know.
One theory was that she was directly referencing the audience and saying, you want in for the next movie to come out. So
it could be.
And that is how the Kingdom of Hearts crossover began.
Yes.
You know.
You know who it's gonna be? I know.
It's gonna be in sync.
It's gonna be
Mephisto.
It's gonna be Miss Lion.
If you swear to God, Leo, if you say it's Mephisto, I'm done.
No, I said Miss Lion. It's gonna be Miss Lion.
Oh God. Yep.
I can't. I can't. So I'm good. Sorry. I'm just so distracted by how adorable that statue is. Train of thought. And then on top, Franco, you've worked on you've still collaborating with art, but you've worked on other things. You had we've talked about this a little bit before the show. You had Ghost and the Owl with Sarah Richards and or Sarah Richard, and you had Dead Man Tell Spooky Tales, which Jeremy above me, right here, that guy.
That's me.
Yes, yeah, he read it, and
I don't normally get scared at things, especially reading them, and like the cemetery tale where the little girl's in with her brother and they both kind of you get this idea that they're both being taken and whatever. God, I got chills while reading that, and the hand story that
Cool.
oh, that creeped me the hell out. It was
Yeah,
really
those
good.
welcome to all of my nightmares. So I wrote them all down and put them in a book.
Dude, it was fantastic.
Thank you.
I fell in right away, and I'm a person who has a hard time reading like straight through with comics. I tend to fall asleep a lot.
he does.
Comic narcolepsy. But I read breezed through this book. It was fantastic. I had a good time with it, and the art. Each of the artists that you had collaborated with in it, so many different styles. It was very good.
Oh, thanks.
Very,
Yeah,
very
that was a really cool project to work on, and I'm so thrilled that DC gave me the opportunity to kind of go outside of my normal box. With the all ages comics, it's still all ages, but it's kind of
yeah.
more spooky. And they were so good to work with. They let me choose all the artists or have a say in all the artists that were in the book, and the ideas that I had for it. So I'm really proud of that book, and I'm really glad people are digging it. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What was how did the choice to have Sarah Richards do the Dead Man throughout the whole story? How did that come about?
That was part of the pitch of the story. When I pitched it to DC Comics, the other artist I had some ideas about who I wanted for the stories in the book, but the narrator of the book is Dead Man, and that was pitched with Sarah's artwork in mind. So when I put the whole thing together, I asked her to do some drawings for me, and Dead Man didn't vary much from her original drawings when we pitched it.
He was a great crypt keeper. It was great.
Yeah, thanks. I had such a great time. She's just a dear friend, but I had such a great time working with her on the Ghosty Owl, and it was such a cool experience. But one of the things she told me when we worked on the Ghosty Owl was that she's not a big, panel to panel comic person, because she's a painter. She does paintings and usually covers and stuff like that. She had never really done a comic book before. And I asked her to do the project, and she was a little bit weary of it because she hadn't done anything like that before. And I said, well, if it's okay with you, the way I write is because I'm an artist myself, the way I write is in a storyboard style. So my script is not, like a script. It doesn't say page 1, panel 1, scene 1, whatever. It's literally a storyboard. And, not all artists like to work that way, but, I tell them, you don't have to stick to exactly what's on the page, but as a sentiment as to what I'm trying to put out there, I'd like the sentiment of the page to be there. So if you have to change things, combine panels or eliminate panels or whatever. But, one of the things she wanted to do, because of her strength, is she's more of a painterly thing. So if you look at the Ghosty Owl or the pages that she did in Dead Man, they're a lot more painterly, and they flow more rather than, having them be panel to panel. There's one sequence in the Dead Man Tells the Spooky Tales where he's introducing a story, but he starts out at the top of the page, and then he starts walking around the page, and he's upside down by the time he gets, so you follow the word balloons all the way around, but it's just one painting. So all that stuff was done by design.
It's very well done on that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And the Ghost the Owl was just beautiful artwork, great story. I was just oh wow, and the little hints here and there that are dropped, and the way that the animals communicate. I am I'm into crows, and my other network is the Owlite Network. So I was immediately hooked because I'm like, I've got a Parliament of Owls. They've got crows helping them doing this stuff. Oh, this is so cool. I was born on Halloween, so I'm the morbid one out of the crew everywhere. So it was like horror comic with owls and crow. Well, not super horror comic, but yeah, dark,
Yeah.
darker
Darker.
comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still just
Oh, well, thanks a
so
lot.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole book was born out of again, Sarah. I had met her a few times here and there at different conventions, and I was a big fan of her artwork. I had bought some books from her and some pieces from her here and there, and then, but I just kind of knew her in that capacity. I wasn't really good friends with her, and then we were set up at a show. I want to say that it was in Boston that we were set up right next to each other, and we kind of struck up again, like on the catching up show. You strike up a conversation, you start talking, and she was selling these prints of these owls, a beautiful owl painting that she had done,
Mhm.
and she was selling them like every other person. I'm like, what, are you giving these away, like basically, because they were just flying off the table because the artwork was just so beautiful. I'm like, why don't you do a book like that? And she goes, well, I'm not really a writer. And I'm like, I will write it for you, and she goes, really? And I said, yeah. What are your two favorite things? She goes, well, my two favorite things in the world are ghosts and owls. And I'm like, guess what the book is? And it's the Ghostly Owls. So that's where that was born.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool. You're a nice guy, Franco.
Oh, well, thanks. I tried to be.
He's aware. So another thing is you've been nominated for awards and you actually won awards. So what is that like when you find out like something you did like the Ghost Owl was nominated for, I think it was like an Eisner? So
It was nominated for a Ringo Award.
right, sorry. But it was nominated for a Ringo. And then I think Itty Bitty won an award or two, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's
I think we won a Harvey Award or an Eisner, I forget.
yeah, one of those. But what is
No,
that?
I'm not trying to brag or anything.
No.
Yeah.
But what is it like, when you find that out and then like the awards, like I've only ever read about them and I see the photos because I know enough creators to see that, but it's like you're there and you're sitting with, I don't want to say comic book elite, but other great creators, and then you win. You're like, oh wow, like my book won. Like, do you guys do they give speeches? Like,
yeah, we do. We did. It was kind of cool. Let me tell you first off, getting nominated is pretty cool. Winning is really cool. Because if you get nominated, that's awesome, but then you don't win. It's like, oh, hey, the other guy won. But when you win, you're like, oh, I won. That's pretty cool. It's very humbling, actually, to know that there's people out there that are reading your stuff that take the time out to vote, take the time out to really kind of parse through everything that's out there, and for you to win that award, it's kind of indescribable. It's weird, but awesome. And we've been lucky enough to win a number of times. I've won over the years 3 Eisners. I've won a Harvey. Been nominated a bunch of times. So it's just really it's just humbling to know that people are out there reading the stuff and liking the stuff, and you guys telling me that you love the Ghostly Owl or Spooky Tales or Itty Bitty Hellboy. It's kind of like, oh, it makes me makes me a little bit embarrassed, but also makes me feel really good that you guys are digging that stuff.
Well,
yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
So
yeah,
we've heard all the good stuff so far, Franco, but
Oh, cool. We're getting into the bad stuff. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Have you ever collaborated with somebody and not had a good time with them and been like, one and done?
Not really. There's been a couple of instances here and there that weren't, the the
And we
greatest
don't
part
have
of the
to name
industry.
names, but
I
like,
wasn't going to.
just how you deal with it.
But yeah, my philosophy is that everybody has an idea of what should be done. Comics is a very collaborative effort. Unless you're, writing, drawing, publishing the entire thing yourself, which is something that I do. I have a new book coming out that's going to be exclusive to my website.
Cool.
It's called Super Fun Altogether. That comes out in a couple of weeks, and that was all, done entirely through me. So I have complete creative control. But
Oh, that's cool.
there's other people involved in, when you're working with someone, at DC or Dark Horse or anything like that, or even just, a collaboration with my buddy Art, there's give and take. There's things that work and things that don't work. There people have ideas that they bring to the table. Some work, some don't. Not all my ideas have been, gone through to the end of production, but that's just the way the business is. And occasionally you meet one or two people who are not in the collaborative mindset, but it's been very, very few times that's
Right.
ever happened with me. And I've had mostly a very positive experience. And I'm not a type of person that likes to dwell on the negative. I like to kind of just, look at the bright side of things and go from there and see what we can do in the best that we can do.
Nice.
It's a nice
Well,
person answer.
I know. I don't know how we can follow that up. Like, I feel like that was like an end of the show moment. All right, wrap it up.
Last question.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Ooh, geez.
No.
Wow, Jeremy, good. Wow, look at you.
Yeah, that it's it's a it used to be CM Punk, but there's
interesting.
things that change back and forth. But I'm a real big fan of Becky Lynch. I love what she's done. From her beginning to her becoming the man and I actually drew a picture of her and I put it up on social media and I tagged her in it, never thinking, and she liked it and
Oh, nice.
commented on it and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. I like The Rock, but I'd have to say, Becky Lynch, CM Punk, The Rock, those are up there.
Very cool.
All
right.
There's one person I feel who again didn't say much. He just kind of sits in the corner there.
Yeah, Leo.
Yeah. What do you have to say?
Well, I apologize for being quiet. I'm trying to make sure everything runs in the background here.
You are amazing.
I try.
You're doing great, but talk now.
Well, it's. I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Like, reading Itty Bitty Hellboy, I absolutely loved both volumes. It was a blast to read. Your artwork is simply amazing, Franco. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Looking at this, and then like Jar Jar said, the different styles that you have among yourself. Just going through your Instagram, just your artwork is incredible.
It's like 8 different artists
Yeah.
collaborated together.
Oh, thanks.
It's
Actually,
pretty impressive.
that does bring up one thing, if you would indulge me.
Totally.
During my career as a high school art teacher, because of my career as a high school art teacher, I wasn't able to do a lot of artwork on these books. I would occasionally do artwork here and there, but just my schedule didn't allow for artwork. It was always easier to write because I could carry a notebook and write things down here and there. But I have a book coming out in collaboration with Art Baltazar as well. It's called Teen Titans Go to the Library. Comes out in January. And I got to draw most of the book.
Cool.
And the premise of the book is that the Teen Titans are in a library and one of Raven's spells goes wrong and they all get shunted into different library books. So they're all in different books and I got to draw each one of the Titans in different styles. So putting together all the different styles that I do, I was able to kind of just throw that all into one book. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So pick that up in January. Yeah.
So
we can see them all in different famous books that we are possibly familiar with. Or are they
Yeah,
random?
there's a cover. There's a cover of the book out there online, and it might kind of give you some clues as to what what kind of styles maybe you'll see them in, or what kind of books you'll see them in. So it was a fun project, and that was actually the only reason I was able to do that, because I just retired in June, and books don't get made that fast. So I drew this a couple of years ago during COVID, because everybody was home. So
Right.
I was able to take on the artwork, and it was pitched at the same time as The Dead Man Tells a Spooky Tale. So both books were pitched on the same day, and both were approved the same day.
Nice.
And it's just that, Dead Man happened to come out first because I wasn't drawing that. I wrote both of them.
Right.
But since I was doing the artwork on the the Teen Titans book, we were going back and forth with the editor about who the artist should be, and it was the same editor that we were working on Dead Man with. So we were talking about different artists, and I said, well, the Teen Titans book, we're going to have to get an artist for this section and an artist for this section, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to look like this. And then she just said, why don't you do it, because you're showing me all these styles.
Right.
And I said, well, I don't really have the time. I don't think I can. And then, kind of COVID hit, and I'm like, well, I think I have the time, because we're home. So I did. There's about 80 pages of the book that I drew, and about 20 or 30 pages that Art drew.
Nice.
We wrote it together. So, and then the other artist, there's a third artist on the book, and it's Agnes Garbaska, who's an amazing artist as well. Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll make sure we cover it in January, and when you want to come back, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah, anytime.
Maybe we can have both him and Art both talking about the book. I mean,
at the same
a
time.
lot of energy. I'm going to need to take a nap, because that's like.
So
What's up if Art's on, though? We gotta. We must be dapper.
two last questions for you, Franco, and we'll let you go if you'd like to go. So talking about time, and when you were teaching, how did you find time for everything before COVID? Teaching, owning a comic store, doing your art professionally, and also with like a love of comics, consuming as much media as you could. How did you manage it all?
And Leo, don't forget going to conventions.
And conventions, yeah. Holy crap, forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, the reason I retired was so I can actually sleep now. But no.
There's 8 hours a day cleared.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of did it. I've always been kind of a person who's always been working on multiple things. Like right now, even though I'm retired, I'm working on like 6 or 7 different projects, all at the same time. It's just kind of the way my brain works. My wife, because someone was asking that question to me, and my wife was with me, and she answered for me, and she was right on the money. She said, his brain never stops. It just goes all the time. So I think that's just what it is, while I was at school, if I'm, demonstrating a lesson about, how to paint like this, I would do a demo canvas, and I would paint that, and then I'd be like, oh, that looks pretty good. I finish it up, and then I sell it as a painting, or between classes, I had a notebook with me at all times. I still carry one with me wherever I go, and between classes, I'd be, oh, I got to write that down, because I'm thinking about that. If I'm talking to a kid about this, or I'm like, well, why don't you try this? I'm like, oh, wait, that gives me an idea. I got to remember to write that down later. During my lunch periods, I would, write or draw or whatever. So it's just constantly brain never shutting off. So I just found the time.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
If you love something, it doesn't consume time, right? It just,
Yeah.
you love doing it, you just do it.
Yep.
Totally agree. Last question is, talking about, comic book media. I know you don't have too much time to read, but with like the shows and everything going on, is there anything that you've recently caught up on, or, did you watch Loki, or did you get a chance to go to the Marvels or anything like that?
I did. I saw the Marvels just last week. Just caught up with Ahsoka, and liked the Marvels a lot. Wasn't thoroughly in love with it, but I liked it quite a bit. I thought Ahsoka was great. So, yeah, I tend to. I'm starting to catch up on things, and again, that's probably why I did the catching up show. So, the catching up show for me is twofold. One, it forces me to sit down and draw on camera with someone, so I'm drawing something.
Yeah.
And the other thing it forces me to do is catch up on something that I've missed. So it forces me to watch that because there was a lot of stuff people were like, oh, did you watch this or did you watch that? And I wasn't doing that, and I need to do more of that. So you get to the point where you love all this stuff, but you don't have any time. You just make the time and watch it.
Exactly.
Often I'll find my time 2:00 in the morning putting on something that I missed. So.
Well, I was hoping, and this is horrible to say, but I was hoping the strikes would go on longer so I could catch up on more TV and movies. There's so much. I'm just like, I do not have the time.
Jeremy, I thought the same thing when they were like, "Oh, they're not going to policy." It's like, there are books that have probably been neglected on your library.
Yeah,
long enough that you can read. And there's like, read, and I'm like, read.
Yeah, and one of the cool reading hacks that I've figured out is, because I like to walk because I do a lot of sitting. So I like to go for walks, and if you get a library card, you can get Libby down, Libby, and you can get audio books and stuff like that and listen to them. So right now I'm listening to the Star Trek Coda books as I walk. So it's a great. I'm reading as I'm listening.
I do. Franco, I'm doing the same thing with when I'm driving. Instead of calling people or listening to music, I'll just put like an earbud in one ear and I'll just put on like a podcast. Like you, a friend, and I'm like, I'm catching up because I'm supporting my friends. And then I'm like, oh boy, I don't have to drive that much.
My commute to school wasn't that long, so that never worked for me. And now I hardly drive anywhere now that I'm home, mostly working from home.
Oh yeah.
But the other book I want to listen to is Barbara Streisand just came out with a memoir, but I heard it's like 1,000 pages. So, I don't know if I'm ever gonna really do that, but I want to listen to that book too.
All right, that one caught me off guard.
The Barbara Streisand one, really?
Yeah. I was like, well,
I
did watch a news thing on her just the other day, so I probably would enjoy the book.
Just don't let it rain on your parade, Franco. Okay?
It's not going to. That stuff doesn't bother me. If someone doesn't like something, I'm like, you don't have to do it. It's something that interests me, and I have varied interests. I'm a history buff. I love comics. I'm science fiction buff, and I was watching. I was watching Anchors Away with my dad today with Gene Kelly and Frank Sinatra.
Oh wow!
And I know a lot of useless stuff. If you listen to Oh Yeah Comic podcast or my show, I know a lot of useless things. Like there was a scene where Gene Kelly dances with Jerry Mouse, from Tom and Jerry, and Jerry wasn't supposed to be in that. It was supposed to be Mickey Mouse. But Walt Disney wouldn't let them have the rights to do Mickey Mouse, so they just MGM went into their own archives to use. It's just stuff like that. And I'm telling my dad, who's like 80-something years old and Italian, it's like, I don't care. I
just want to watch the mouse dance.
I'm restricted to, if I can't explain something in under two sentences or less, I'm not allowed to bring up the subject with her. She does not want history lessons. And I'm like,
tell her you do a
but
lot
I
of
have to explain to you exactly why I dislike the Habsburgs. And she's like, who the fuck are the Habsburgs? And I'm like, Mom, and she's like, just stop.
I think the same thing for me is when my parents they've watched comic book movies and then they're like, oh, do you know how this character? They're so great and funny. And I'm just like, I think my favorite was my parents had watched Venom. And like, oh, do you know Venom? Like, there's this. I'm just sitting here, me and my sister, who like, she grew up with me, so she watched me playing the Spider-Man game, reading Spider-Man comics. We both had that eyes like, really,
Yeah.
But my dad is Franco. My dad's the person. Like, watch something. Oh, is this person in it? And I'm like, if you watch the movie, all of your questions will be answered, probably. Like, and I'll show him a trailer, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, are they in it?" I was like, "Did you even watch the thing? Did you even watch it?"
That's like my wife. Yeah, like we'll sit in a room and I'll turn the TV on and a movie will be on halfway through, and she goes, "Well, wait a minute, what was that guy doing before this?" I'm like, "You were here when I turned it on. I have no idea what happened previous to that point, type thing." So
In the same continuity.
Listen, having met Mrs. Franco more than a few times, and also to credit to Leo, having met your wife at least once, I could say thank God both of your women love you, because they put up with so much.
I will publicly admit I married way above my stand my she's way above me, and I don't know why she's still here. I really don't.
It's a geek world.
Yeah, so I don't.
Geeks rule the world.
Yeah, I know that if I was with me, I would no longer be with me, but I have to be with me because I'm with me. I just don't know why she's still with me. So yeah.
I totally feel you. Totally feel you.
So lucky.
Just real quick, if you enjoy Star Trek, definitely check out Lower Decks.
Oh my God. Okay, we got it. You're a Star Trek fan.
Watch it all. We're good.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, it's gotten much better. I didn't like it first season, second season. It grew on me. Well, let me put it this way: if it's Star Trek, I'm always going to watch it.
Yeah.
But it definitely got better by this last season. Was so much better than the first season.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm hoping they get a couple more seasons and it grows even more.
Yeah. The final episode, it killed me. But he looks just like Tom Paris.
That's true.
Save it for your blog, guys. All right. Well, Franco, we're coming up on the end of our time with you, and thank you so much for coming out. We will definitely keep an eye out for Teen Titans Library, which is very much DC meets the Page Master, which is what I wanted to say, but still love it because love that movie. And seriously, everybody,
So long.
yes, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thoroughly appreciate it. Keep on keeping on, man. Keep doing the dope work.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks for reading all my stuff. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody else want to say goodbye?
Well, what I was going to say, Franco, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
Anywhere. I have a website, blindwolfstudios.com. You can reach all my other stuff on there. I believe my link tree is on there as well. But I'm on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And you just Google me, you'll find me, Franco and DC Comics or something like that, and I'll pop up.
Awesome. Sounds good. And we got a lot of that information in the show notes, so definitely check it up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. We'll let you go, Franco. Thank you so much again for your time this evening, and we can't wait till January.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. Good night.
It's great to meet you.
That was a great interview, guys.
Yeah.
High fives all around. Oh, this side.
Yeah. Also, I swear to God, does anyone notice Leo has this flex at the end? He waits to like the last 10 minutes. It's like, so I have a couple of questions. And I'm like, Leo, we talked about trying to get this to an hour. Why do you have to ask them like the part 4 questions? I was like, you are literally the monkey with the wrench and the cog.
I love it.
And I'm just like,
well, a couple things. I don't want to, steal anybody's questions, and it's a lot of times you all have better questions than I do. So, it's like a Rolodex in my head. I'm going through. Okay, this question too stupid. Okay.
You know what? You know what I'm waiting for. Jeremy, and Leah and Harry, I'm waiting for when we have a guest that he dominates the conversation. We got to get Lieber, somebody from Superman, somebody from Transformers. Then Leo will be like, "It's my time," and we'll be like, "Go." Carrie will mind the keyboard. Go, Leo. Be
I'll reach out to Robert Kirk.
I can do that for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I want to see that. I want to see the flex that you would do, like when Jar just killed it on the Chris Showerman interview. Like, he went in, he was like, "Oh, I did the research," and Chris like, "Oh, wow, okay, cool." And then we're all just like, "The fuck did this come from? What did you smoke today?"
I think
But
we all are doing a lot of that now these days. So, like, Kari watches these people more than I do now. It's
well,
she's like, yeah, I was watching your podcast earlier this week. I was like, Kari, don't tell them all your secrets.
well, because Carrie is like our mix between our crypt keeper and the oracle. She's just like, "Let me tell you the story of the splash pages." And all right, hold on 1 second. I got to get to this mainframe. All right, 1 second. All right. You know, she got that mix, and then just with a raven. You know? So, with that said, we do have a lot of news to go through. We have some new things we're going to try doing. So, I listen, I got to be honest with you guys. I say we just get the thing we're all dreading out of the way so then we can talk about everything else. Let's just do variants now. Let's just get variant watch out of the way. What do you say?
We can do that. Variant watch. So is that the
That's the term.
do I need to make like a logo splash for it?
Yeah, it's like Baywatch, but with variants. So it's just like,
I'll have a thing of Drew running in slow motion.
oh my God, there's so many. No. This is like Baywatch. There were more than one. It wasn't just Hasselhoff. You know? So everyone get a pair of baby boots. You know, "Hi, welcome to Variant Watch. My name's Drew, and let's cover the variants for this week." Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Instead of a lifeguard chair, he's like on a director's chair or something.
No, I'm just going to sit on a pile of comics and just like, I'm reducing the sale value. Oh my God, these first editions. Oh God. All right. Let's get whoever the slideshow ready.
Ooh,
okay.
Look at that ass.
So first one.
Giant size.
Giant size Spider-Man issue 1. This is Ki-Hwan Lee's variant cover. Miles. This is the battle where you're going to see Miles Morales versus Eddie Brock's son Dylan, who is the new Venom for the first time. So this goes on sale January 10th, 2024. Main cover will be with Brian Hitch. So then next you have
one of my favorite artists,
Greg Capullo. As we know, Marvel has a big deal with him. He's doing a ton of variants for Marvel right now. This is the variant for Incredible Hulk issue 9, which I do believe is coming out early next year, 2024. Philip Kennedy Johnson has been killing it on this run. So this is one of those that deserves it. Love Capullo style. So definitely check this out, both the book and the cover. Next.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. This is, well, I mean, you got Alex Ross. So this is Alex Ross for Chip Zdarsky's Avengers Twilight. So this is an older, more world-weary version of Kamala Khan. This is the main cover, and then Daniel Acuna has the variant cover for Avengers Twilight issue 3. Both of them pretty beautiful. Chip Zdarsky, David Acuna. It's essentially one of those Avengers in a dystopian-esque future. So it looks pretty cool. But of course, Alex Ross variant never fails to be beautiful, no matter what, ever. And that will be on sale February 28th, 2024. Next. So these are the Stormbreakers. We've talked about them a lot. So this is the 2024 variant cover for the new year. So, Elena Casagrande, Nick Klein, Jan Balzuda, Chris Allen, Martin Cogoco, Lucas Wernick, Federico Vicente, CF Villa. These are all their covers, so we could just run each one. So you got Ghost Rider, you got Daredevil, Emma Frost, and Tony Stark. They're married now. You've got Spider-Punk and
That's kind of cool.
and
That's awesome.
the best New Year's party that Marvel never had.
Yeah.
Beautiful Emma Frost there. I think that's Shang-Chi. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's Shang-Chi. Daredevil and Elektra.
And that's it.
Yep. Boom. So all those are going to be on sale December 6th to the 27th. So if you like what they got there, check that out. I think there's more. Is there more? There's more. I feel there's more.
There is Star Wars.
Yes. So these are variant covers for next year's Black History Month. So Ken Lashley, 5 Black History Month variant covers, which will have various Star Wars titles. So February 7th, you're going to have Mace Windu, fellow Jedi Master Adi Gallia. She's on Star Wars Darth Vader issue 43. That's on February 14th. February 21st is Star Wars 43 and Star Wars High Republic issue 4. So you're going to see Koalan Roken. That's of the Obi-Wan Kenobi fame. And then the other one will be Jedi Knight Bel Zettifar. And then on February 28th, Star Wars Thrawn Alliances, Naboo's Captain Karsh Panaka. So Ken Lashley is a huge Star Wars fan. When Marvel was like, do you want to do these covers? He's like, hell yeah.
Beast.
So
He's an amazing artist.
absolutely. So honestly, I've met him at cons. Super dope dude. Really pleasant, very nice, absolutely talented. So glad he's getting more work. And again, I'm all for Star Wars variants. I mean, we saw one of our previous shows. They're doing covers for Life Day, which is, as we know, is the event. Well, yes, the event made famous from the infamous Star Wars Christmas special, which is the thing we tried watching once and never could.
We can try again.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Ooh,
Leo,
maybe that's what we should do our dub for.
no, Leo. Listen, you have to understand something. If we're going to do that, we're going to need to be smashed pages. Okay.
He's looking all over the room like, what?
I'm gonna have to get really drunk for the first time ever.
Yeah, Char, I'm going to have to get really in a towel sense of it.
Maybe I can get some mushrooms for that.
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I could just see this now. What are you doing? I'm hitting light speed. How many have you done? Well, if I keep doing more, I'm going to go to ludicrous speed. Oh boy, he's going ludicrous speed. We're going to die now.
He's throwing the plaid.
I knew it. So that's all the variants for this week, everybody. Variant watch, relatively painless. That's the quickest we've ever done variants. Next.
Let me clear the board. Give me 1 second here.
I know, Jar. That's how do you do all the variants in 9 minutes?
That's half the news.
Well, to be fair, actually, that wasn't all the variants.
Yeah.
That's all the variants that we covered in the news.
Yes, all the variants that we covered. I put together a video. If it's only a short on YouTube, but DC had 33 variants this week.
Yeah, you said 94 variants altogether.
That's what you do for It's the End of the World as we know it song.
Oh,
DC's got Batman variant number 42.
Oh my God. If you want to write that, please do.
Ooh, Jar Jar, that's what we can do.
It'll kill me.
So
speaking of Batman,
yeah.
Yes, this looks super dope. I'm so pumped.
So Jason Aaron and Doug Mankey.
I think
sounds about right to me.
Yeah, Mankey. If we ever have him in the show, we'll make sure we got his name right. Okay.
So they're shaking things up with a fresh Batman series. This time, Batman is going beyond the familiar streets of Gotham for a space adventure that's sure to test his detective skills like never before. The
Right.
series marks Aaron's first leap into the DC universe, and he's
Is that
set to
Steppenwolf?
highlight Batman's smarts and ingenuity in Batman Off-World. Is coming this month, and we'll see Batman in his formative years taking on challenges that go far beyond Earth's atmosphere, and that's just the beginning. Aaron is quoted as saying, "Yeah, really, it's just a kind of twofold. One, I felt like I wanted to do a Batman story. It's kind of my lead off in my first real DC debut. Years ago, I did a Penguin one shot, and that was the only thing I've ever written for DC before. Batman was in this one panel, I think, of that. So I knew I wanted to do a Batman story, and I wanted to do something that was different, a different kind of Batman story that we'd ever seen before. And I
Yeah.
like the idea of taking a young Batman, the guy who's just fresh off a year one."
Yeah, it's a really early and I think the other thing that's really important to note, Leo, is that
Love
he's a fan. Like, this is his ode to DC. You know, World's Finest, Hawkman, Green Arrow, Flash, Superman, Batman. Those were all books he picked up, and then, you know, New Teen Titans. So I don't think it's really. I think that's another reason why we just saw a Tamarinian, who is the race that Starfire is from, among the character. So, I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, Doug Mahnke, I mean, he did a ton of Jeff Johns' run on Green Arrow, Green Lantern. So he's very familiar with that. But I think the other thing that's really important to note, Leo, because I read the same interview that you did for this. This is an early Batman. Think like Batman Year One, Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli. He's not feared across the galaxy. A lot of the people he comes across, they think he's a bird.
Yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious where he's talking about. So they released some preview pages, and I've gone through them. There, it's hilarious, where he's talking about how he comes out from the mist and they're laughing at him.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he says, they don't know how to fear me yet. You know, even the way they drew Batman, you know, is just like he's sulking there. You know, it's like, you know, why are you laughing at me?
Right.
What the hell, guys? Come on.
The other cool thing is that, you know,
I'm
this
the
is.
terror that flaps in the night.
I think the other cool thing is that, you know, you got it's a fresh take, you know. So we got new characters, new villains, new friends. So you're going to see faves, you know, references. But I believe Aaron said that he's going to see a new villain, like around like issue 4. This is like an 8-part series, a miniseries. We're going to see a new villain that he's very excited about. So, you know, that's pretty interesting. You know,
First
just you think
appearance.
new character.
Well, I'm, you know, when I first started reading about this, I was a little put off, like Batman in space. You know, we've dealt with
Hold
that.
on, hold on. Aren't you the Batman in space fan? You know, where he comes down from orbit and
I just, you know,
superhero pose.
I did a little bit of research, and I thought, you know, that could be plausible. They've taken a couple things that happened in real life. You know, somebody falling from like 20,000 feet and surviving because they fell in the snow, and but you know, making it through space with his bat underwear over his face, you know, to breathe. You know, it was a little goofy, but you know, I dealt with it. It's a comic book. You know, it's not Gotham War. You know,
Hey, as long as you got the superhero pose at the landing. You
oh,
know,
totally.
stick
Well,
landing.
no, he nosedive right into the snow. Yeah.
I think the important thing really to note is that this is the exact kind of style we've come to expect with Jason Aaron. It's very grounded, but it's a story that isn't afraid to get weird, but getting weird in a way that doesn't alienate the reader, but it draws them in because it's something fresh, it's something new. And it also kind of fills in details about Batman, because again, how does someone who's essentially human become a feared figure across the galaxy, where there are entities and races that, you know, have better technology, maybe better abilities, maybe even bigger or stronger than him? How does a human being from Earth do that? And this is going to kind of explore that learning curve.
Totally. And totally agree with you. Drew, like I was saying, when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be goofy, but after reading these panels, I'm totally drawn in. Um, the
Mhm.
the writing is excellent so far on like the 8 pages that they show.
Right.
And Batman just wallops this guy here, and he just chuckles at him. And I believe the next one where they talk about where they've zapped him and he didn't even flinch.
Mhm.
So they're already and not enamored by him, but just in awe. Like they gave him his awe, gave him the zaps, and he didn't do anything. He didn't move.
Well,
Uh,
well, Leo, you're gonna have to wait till next week to see the full comic.
Is
Which
it next week? Because they didn't give a date. They just said November.
according to what I read, they said you can find the full issue when it hits the comic stores next
Well,
week. So
isn't next week the last Wednesday of the month, anyways?
basically,
Is it?
Pretty sure. I'm not 100% on that.
like that. Well,
Listen,
because
Goddamn,
this is
Kari
like
dropping out like that. Her news piece is probably next.
Kari, why'd you do that?
What the hell?
All right. So who's next?
Oh,
We
I
can't
think
hear
your
you,
mic.
Kari.
Yeah, I think your mic switched on you. Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna-
Tom Dog says I actually have a soft spot for the Star Wars holiday special.
So many
That's
do.
called a tumor in the brain, Tom.
It's not a tumor. It's
I, while we wait for Kari, because actually her story is next.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Oh,
Are
these
you guys
videos-
caught up on Invincible?
no.
Yes.
Episodes that are out?
I need to catch up, please. I've heard nothing
Oh,
but
I
stuff,
won't.
but I've heard. I can only imagine nothing but goodness.
I'm on issue 16 of the comic now, and it's caught up right alongside the cartoon, so I'm just like interesting.
Are you going to try reading it to the end? Because let me tell
Yeah.
you, you are in for a ride.
Yeah, my whole deal is to hopefully get well ahead of the show.
Oh yeah, you will.
Because I'm already at a point where I'm like, God damn it, the book is so much better than the show.
Well, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the show's still great, but
Oh, yeah.
like I love the different choices that they made in the book much more than what they decided. And in the book, my God, Mark gets manhandled by Omni-Man. Like, just the destruction is insane.
Oh yeah, the book stakes are a lot bigger, but it's
Mhm.
still a great. It's up until then. I didn't really have much, but after reading it, that's my favorite of Kirkman's work, and he's a great writer. But Invincible is the best. Like that to me trumps Walking Dead all the time.
Yeah. So far, yeah. I read Walking Dead all the way through, and fun ride. but
Yeah,
I
but
like the more comic.
I feel like Invincible is more the kind of thing you were in for. Hey again, Kari.
Hey, sorry, headphones.
All right. So guess what, Kari? Now you're back. It's your news story. Leo, go.
well, hold on. I don't think we can hear you. Like
I can hear her perfectly.
tap your mic. Okay. It's just you're very low, but
I can turn my gain up if it helps at all.
yeah, let's
Is
do
any
that.
better?
Yeah, that does actually.
There
Okay.
we go. Okay, Kari, you're up.
All right. So
What the-
another thing Jason Aaron is doing is he's getting a bit darker in his new Superman run that he'll be taking over in 2024.
Bizarro.
Yeah, they're going to be releasing Action Comics 1061, written by Aarons with art from John Timms. And Mr. Aarons wants to put a different twist on Bizarro. So rather than having him just be a really stupid, simple version of Superman, he's going to be like a Superman super fan, super stan, who gets like kind of becomes a hardcore baddie on him. There's going to be a 3-issue miniseries titled I Bizarro, and Bizarro thinks that this is worst idea ever, and he hopes no one buys it. So
Yes,
there you
I
go.
agree, Bizarro. Or I disagree with Bizarro. Hold on, do I? Shit, I don't know how to agree with him.
Kari is our de facto Bizarro speech specialist, so she no good at her job.
Hey, Wild Bill, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
But
Hey.
But one of the things I loved before we move on to the next story is that Jason Aaron said that he was so nervous to write this. He said it was
Yeah.
like writing a comic, and he did what every nervous Superman writer does. He called Mark Waid. And I was like, man, can you imagine that conversation, that brainstorming? That was just the coolest.
That art you
Wait.
put up of Bizarro made me think of Marv. I was
That-
like, oh, wow.
That's Chris Bocciolo, whose art is fantastic. So I'm pretty certain he must be doing a variant or something or promotion work. But my God, that's just great.
Yeah,
Just,
And I
real
can
quick,
see
uh,
Bizarro.
that art before as well, but I'm so excited about evil Bizarro because like it had been, it turned like he's our opposite, but then it's like, okay, but it's not like Injustice Superman is what Bizarro is. Bizarro is just like derp,
Yeah.
everything bad, everything reverse, all opposite. Oh, Superman is good. I want to be Superman. Or I not want to be Superman.
Well,
I'm not be a good guy. It was so weird.
Well, we're going to see more of the direction DC is definitely going. They're promising a lot of evil in the future for 2024, but we'll get to that later. Next.
Just want to say, Wild Bill says greetings from Atlanta, Georgia. Greetings, Wild Bill. Thanks for joining.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Next, Billy.
Dog pool.
Yes. Okay. So I am breaking because we definitely don't talk too much about entertainment social media, but I found this out and I had to address it. So Ryan Reynolds has confirmed that with the strike including, he is permitted to talk about the upcoming film that he's been long working on with Disney and such. And one of the characters confirmed is Dogpool. So Dogpool being an alternate version of Wade Wilson from Earth 103, 173, also known as Wade Wilson, was originally a victim of animal testing, becoming a test subject for a makeup product called Mascara X, which was essentially replenished itself continually, but it left the dog disfigured and with the ability to heal himself automatically. So despite his abilities, he is essentially rejected. He ends up as a dog in a sideshow for a circus until eventually saved by Wade Wilson from 616, who's recruiting him for the Deadpool Corps, which are a coalition of Deadpools from across the multiverse. So the reason that Ryan Reynolds went on Twitter, because I refused to call it X because I just want to make a DMX reference every time I want to call it X because I'm like, X ain't going to give it to you. He confirmed in a photo, which I really hope we have it, the dog that will be Dogpool in it, that's complete with tiny red and black little puppy shoes and a little costume. When I say this shit is adorable, I was like, damn. Like, it is so cute. I mean, and the dog, which I'm not gonna lie to you, is a little disfigured, little messed up.
Okay.
It's perfect casting. I mean,
Oh, God.
yep. But
What a cutie.
thanks.
Oh,
Well,
man.
Yeah. What about perfect casting there?
Yeah.
But yes, so yeah, I saw that and I was like, yes, let's go, please.
And a rumor I heard is possibly Deadpool 3 might be the only Marvel movie coming out next year.
Yes, summer 2024.
Yes, it is.
Yep. There's a lot coming out,
MCU Marvel.
but I just need to say this. I fully support Dogpool, whose, by the way, real name is Peggy, who has an Instagram account for viewers who want to see more of the dog actor. I don't care That's adorable, and I'm so happy that Ryan Reynolds, who still feels perfect casting for Wade Wilson, is just has such a love and affinity for the comics. So I'm ready.
Oh,
I want more. If we're doing Deadpool core, I'm like, yes.
Well, not only that, like half the stuff that they're talking about possibly happening in Deadpool is going to be friggin' amazing.
Absolutely.
Even the pictures they've shown so far, it's
Yep, it'll be great.
Oh, yeah.
But so that's all I'm going to say. So everybody, Dogpool confirmed. Deadpool 3, summer 2024. Let's go. I'm good. Next. Oh, Jar.
This is me. Giant Size Fantastic Four. But actually, in 2024, Marvel Comics is excitedly reintroducing Giant Size Comics, promising an even more colossal and groundbreaking experience than ever before. To commemorate the 50th anniversary, God, I feel old, of the legendary Giant Size storytelling from the 1970s, these new issues will serve as the backdrop for significant shifts in the status quo. The introduction of thrilling new characters and captivating plot development after the intense showdown between Miles Morales and Dylan Brock, which Drew mentioned earlier in January's Giant Size Spider-Man #1 by Cody Ziegler and Ivan Coelho. The celebration of this Giant Size milestone continues in February with Giant Size Fantastic Four, led by superstar writer Fabian Nicieza and acclaimed artist Chris Lee. Giant Size Fantastic Four promises to unveil shocking revelations about the past, paving the way for an incredibly uncertain future as the Fantastic Four stumble upon a long-buried secret about Atlantis embodied in Natlas. Awakened after a millennia, witness the moment when the ancient ruler reclaims his throne in Atlantis. But it's the Giant Size comics. They sound like fiscally sound options to buy, meaning if they're gonna show a lot of new characters and do a lot of like plot development in them, they're most likely going to become key issues later on. So get them while they're cheap.
Well, I mean, I think the other thing is that you already know the rule of Atlantis, Namor. So you have Nahus versus Namor, and then of course Namor is an on and off friend / enemy of the Fantastic Four, so they'll get drawn in. So, like I said, Jar, I think you're right. Depending on how well they sell, these could become hot collector's items. And Fabian knows how to tell a great story. I mean, from what I read in it, he's a big fan of the book. He's a big fan of the content. I mean, whatnot. And the other thing that's important to note is it's going to include a reprinting of Fantastic Four 33, which was the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby story, where I believe it's one of them where they're essentially dealing with Atlantis and, bad stuff.
Bad stuff.
So the cover we just saw was also Brian Hitch, who, as we know, is doing the cover for Giant Size Spider-Man #1 as well. So I guess we'll have to wait.
A lot of detail to that.
Yeah. Well, guess we'll have to wait till February 28th to check that out, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
I couldn't do it in Coma until then,
Next. There are one or two stories.
Leo, you're on mute.
Leo.
Sorry.
Next.
You know what I got to say about that?
The baguettes. Hurry up.
Oh no! There goes Tokyo. Go Godzilla!
Good job.
Okay.
So
is anybody reading Godzilla Justice League?
I am.
I read
really
the first
cool.
issue. First issue is good. I haven't. Has the second one come out yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so this.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so this is really cool. A new omnibus collects Godzilla's original Marvel Comics series. So get ready for a thrilling new team up with Toho International, the Japanese group famous for Godzilla. They're bringing us a special collection where Godzilla joins forces with Marvel superheroes, all in a one big book called Godzilla, the Original Marvel Years Omnibus. This collection highlights the amazing work of two comic legends, Doug Monk. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
And, okay. The guy behind Master of Kung Fu and the co-creator of Moon Knight, and Herbie Trimpe, and I know I said that wrong, who made his mark with Incredible Hulk and Iron Man. So in October of 2024, all 24 issues are going to be coming out in this omnibus. It's going to be a must-have for us Godzilla fans.
Yeah, I mean, and what a great tribute to the late great Herb Trimpe. Especially I had no idea this was a thing.
Marvel Godzilla.
Yeah, I had no idea that they even did this. So this is awesome for fans like me who are big kaiju fans. And it's not just when I heard this, I was like, oh my god, are we gonna have like Godzilla versus like Fing Fang Foom or like giant kaiju-esque monsters? But no, we see Fantastic Four, Avengers, Champions, Nick Fury, something called Red Ronin. I was like, okay,
just came out again, so
but of course, we're also going to see Godzilla fighting Devil Dinosaur, which I'm like, awesome.
Ooh.
Right?
That's
Look,
fun.
Jeremy's there.
Are we going to get Godzuki?
Get out.
Oh, no.
But Batragon and Yetragar are supposed to be, I guess those are fellow kaiju. Again, my kaiju knowledge is a little, but I honestly, this is, to correct me if I'm wrong, Leah, this is coming out like October 2024.
October 2024, yeah.
Yeah, so
And
cool.
if you can't wait for more Godzilla, in what, 3 days?
Yeah. I think it's 3 days.
Yeah, the 17th, that new series.
Oh, cool.
Zero?
Yeah.
I think it's Zero or something like that. It's got a cool name, like.
Yeah. What is it?
Like, it's got a cool name, man. Like, yeah.
It does. I can't remember it though for the life of me.
Oh,
I think
Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Right. That's the one. Jack Russell.
That's
Kurt
what I was
Russell,
thinking of.
the son are both in that. They play the same character.
Stars Kurt Russell, Wyatt Russell,
Yeah.
Anna Sawe, Kiersey Clemens, Ren Watabe, Mary Yamamoto.
So basically, it's yet again another good time to be a kaiju fan. Because
I was thinking of Godzilla -1.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, that comes out, or it is out.
Yeah, it got released in Japan. But Apple TV is going to have Monarch Legacy of Monsters. That looks really good.
Cool. We'll have to check that out.
How is that connected to the verse? The whole.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. We'll have to check that out. So, guys, next on the news.
Kari, you're back just in time for Illuminati.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bum,
All
bum, bum.
right. So back on November 8th, Christopher Cantwell just released with art by Luke Pizza. I'm going to call him Pizzeria Pizzari. Thanos #1. And the story is going to be following a gal named Roberta Marshall through her daily life working at the grocery store. I read the comic. It's really good. She goes around, some strange things start happening, and suddenly at the end of the comic, the Illuminati shows up. But it is not the original Illuminati. Who we have now is Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Doctor Strange. But then along with them, we also get Emma Frost and the Blue Marvel, aka Dr. Adam Brashear.
Yeah.
So we're taking out Black Bolt, we're taking out the Black Panther, we're taking out Beast, and other people who featured Professor X and stuff who've been in it before. So we have an entire Namor. There's a bunch of people who are now missing. So we'll find out when they get to the next the next
issue.
Jesus, thank you. The next issue is going to be with the Hulk. So that should make things a little bit more exciting too. But in this one, it was basically just a setup of the new kind of just human character hanging out, and then like brief glances around at like what Thanos is doing and what's happening. And they yank Fresno off the map. So it looks like it's going to be a really fun comic, I think. Like Thanos having his own comics, like, yeah.
I think the other thing that's
From
interesting,
his perspective.
Issue 2 bills the Hulk as the Illuminati secret weapon, and considering the Hulk's controversial relationship / history with Illuminati, I mean, they're part of the reason that we had Planet Hulk, World War Hulk. And it's kind of interesting that Hulk, especially the current incarnation of Hulk, as we know, we're reading Incredible, very volatile. So to consider that he is a secret weapon, that's some deal with it. That's the kind of deal with the devil the Illuminati has been known for. So it makes sense that the Illuminati would still be a thing in the Marvel universe. I mean, why not?
Oh, they made an
everything comes back anyways.
Yeah,
basically. So
it kind of reminds me of the group in the new Ultimate Invasion. That it's a larger spread group than the Illuminati, obviously, but it's still like people with power, money, and the ability to sleep at night after doing horrible things are the ones who are back behind the world. So,
yep, good times.
We're finding more of them now. But yeah, so Thanos, check it out. And there was the cover was by Lionel Francis Yu. There wasn't a cover there though, but that's just some of the artwork. Yeah, I didn't have a cover for it until I read it, but I couldn't get a good shot. So
we drooled over that cover when it first was released. So
yeah, we've already that's the weird thing. A lot of this artwork we've seen a couple times because we're getting different spots at when things get released. So
yeah,
forgive us if you see things more than once here, and forgive me if I assume that you watch us every single episode so that you should know already what something looks like.
Well, they should. Everybody should be watching us every single week.
Every episode, all 4 hours.
I know. Yeah, well, it's updated information. So even if something is,
we're ranting, condense, work. Leo, I know you're passionate.
I love the rant. Rant.
No, I don't think that his supervisor. I don't want to talk to Miss Megan. So,
rant man.
So Drew, you have Trinity.
Yes. So this is some really cool news here. So essentially, what I'm finding is that after Titans Beast War, Titans Beast World, which Jeremy covered last show, which will be starting soon, this will then be followed with a sort of Trinity of Evil, which is kind of capsulating on that chaos that will be ensuing after Beast World. So the first one, the first thing that's going to be kind of big is Amanda Waller is essentially going to create a new Task Force X, aka Suicide Squad, with the goal to rid humanity of all metahumans once and for all at any cost. So that's going to start with Action Comics 1060 and Beast World War Tour Metropolis issue 1, which are both going to be on sale December 12th, 2023. So that's essentially the first part. And the big part of that is that Arrowverse original character Nia Nal, aka Dreamer, is going to be at the center of her new squad. So that team, Suicide Squad Dream Team, launches in March 2024. So that's first phase. So we got a new Suicide Squad. The second phase is actually going to follow Kari's Bizarro arc, which will be Joshua Williamson and Rafa Sandoval's House of Brainiac, which will take place between the pages of Action Comics, Superman, and then a Superman Brainiac one-shot in 2024. So that's going to introduce something that I think is super freaking cool, the Brainiac Queen. Right, we've seen Brainiac, a male alien species from his world.
So is that the tentacles?
I think so. So
something is coming.
So you've seen that, and they've released some official design of the artwork for the Brainiac Queen, and it looks fantastic. I mean, Rafa Sandoval, who I remember, look at that. That looks intimidatingly awesome.
Gorgeous.
Rafa Sandoval, who I know from his work in the Ultimate Universe, he's also been peppering throughout various projects throughout Marvel, and now he's at DC. He's going to do great work. Super glad. And then the last one is the third phase is of the Trinity of Evil is Batman Zur-En-R coming back. So starting with Batman 140, we're going to have a brutal battle between the Joker, but then we're going to have Batman Zur-En-R revealing his master plan in a pursuit to eradicate all the crime. So this leads into what is called the Dark Prisons arc, which will pay out between Batman 145 and 148, spring of 2024. And this one, Batman will have to face a terrifying figure from his past in order to survive Zur's onslaught. And just to bring things full circle, he's also going to have to deal with Amanda Waller and the U.S. military waiting for him if he makes it out.
And by the way, Joker comes back in 139.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the point being is a whole lot of evil. And I have to be honest with you, I'm kind of liking what I'm hearing. I might really give some of that a solid shot. Like, I feel like we're moving toward a lot of story building and we're getting to these great stories that are pushing new ground. And I'm excited. I don't know. How do you guys feel? Like, all of those
The Beast World things got me really interested, and I'd like to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Kari?
I'm always up for anything. I hate Amanda Waller, but that's just my personal thing.
I think you're supposed to.
She's necessary, but she's a bad person.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll read her, you know.
For me,
as soon as I have time.
She's always got alternate motives too, ulterior motives. So
like I said, the Brainiac Queen story, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then
that does look beautiful.
we know Leo is going to be reading the Batman, so he'll let us. That's good.
They've gone a totally different, well, not a totally different way, but what they've done with Joker, at the end of Justice League, they brought back the 3 Jokers.
Yeah.
Which I was never happy about.
Now we're down to 1.
Yeah. Now it's down to 1 because one killed off the other 2.
Yeah.
Violently, like severely, like psychotically violent.
Yeah.
It was rough. Like
so,
one was burning to death and like still talking and stuff. It was
nice.
Good times.
Yeah.
But, so basically 2024 evil. So
DC. Dawn of DC.
That's all I have for that. So
I do have to say it's kind of funny on the thing with the tentacles. It reminds me of the Star Wars where, something is coming. I'm just like, and then he came back. Somehow he came back.
They look more like cords to me than tentacles, like with lights on them instead of being suckers more, because there's the lines going on them. I don't know.
It's very brilliant.
Well, it could be like robotic tentacles.
Yeah. So basically that. So I guess whatever's next.
Pushy, Drew.
I know.
I want to hear about the show more than 2 hours. If we can't even we get lost in tangents.
Yeah, I know, but we love it. And for everybody watching, we hope you love it as well. But we're having fun with comics, Speaking of fun, there's a new comic book company in town. So this is being formed by former Marvel and IDW big shots. Pug Worldwide, created by former Marvel Comics publisher John Nee. He now leads Pug as the new CEO. Along with him is John Barber, who used to run things at IDW's editing desk. He now does the same for Pug. They also brought along Nate Murray, who also comes from IDW and helps them out as the company's publisher. And everything began when Nee said goodbye to Marvel back in 2020. He started consulting with different companies, but pretty soon this grew into a very cool group that creates not just comics, but also awesome art books, storybooks, and even games. Their first official project is going to be, get this, Jar Jar, you're going to love this, an oversized edition of Conan.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Please.
it's
Kinda
going to be
like this.
Oh yeah.
This isn't theirs, but it's an oversized issue of Conan. Oh, and I got the other one on the back.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this year is going to be an 11 by 17 with scans from the original artwork from Barry Windsor Smith, Jim Lee, John Buscema, Gil Kane, Neil Adams, Arthur Adams, and more. And it's going to have a forward written by Roy Thomas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the several Conan projects that they have in works. There's a creator comic called Signa by Barber and artist Andrew Griffith, a line of 3D comics that Just Jar will come with 3D glasses.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, the paper 3D glass.
you want to know what I've been trying? I'll tell you guys after.
No, go for it.
Well, Michael
Neat.
Jackson put out or not Michael Jackson put out the book, but there's a 3D comic with Michael Jackson in it from Disney World that I've been trying to get, but god damn, do they want a pretty price for her?
Of course they do.
Captain EO or EO, I think it is Captain EO.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have what's what for? Prose book by Need and S.J. Rosen called The Murder of Mr. Ma. And they're releasing their own RPG game called Everyone Else Thinks This Game is Awesome. So
Nice.
hey, listen, this plus Ghost Machine, there's a lot of new blood in the scene, and I'm all for it.
Competition is always good, especially if they're getting out good product. Good product.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
there's
happy to read
a ton
anything
of
new.
there's a ton of creators out there. We just need more ways to distribute their stuff.
Mm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
We wish them luck.
I got a question though. What if
Oh,
Jared?
yeah. Oh, let me tell you. Marvel's Venom is gearing up for a fresh impact on Marvel Universe with the announcement of a new limited series titled What If Venom? Like, this hasn't been done. The 5-issue series, set to debut in February, is set to explore intriguing scenarios as the beloved symbiote interacts with unexpected Marvel characters. Written by Jeremy Holt and illustrated by Jesus Habas, each issue will delve into the consequences of these character crossovers, featuring familiar heroes such as She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Wolverine, Doctor Strange, and Loki. The narrative unfolds against the backdrop of high-stakes situations brought about by their newfound alien abilities. In What If Venom, the story takes a twist into the past, where in a well-known church tower, the Venom symbiote is rejected by Peter Parker, eventually finding a willing host in the vengeful and wrathful Eddie Brock.
Right.
However, that's just a tale we're familiar with. Prepare for a fresh perspective on the sinister symbiote's origin, starting with a journey that reimagines its earliest days bonded to a host with a rage and temperament distinctly different from Eddie Brock's, aka we're looking at the She-Hulk.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw a lot of fans are, I don't know, like I can't even say this. I read this article where a lot of fans are really digging the venomized She-Hulk lick, kind of like being a little, I don't know if the word is creepy sexual about it, but they're like, oh wow, like it's creating a sexual awakening, and I'm like, okay.
Oh my.
I'm like, she's always been that thick. Like, okay. It's just one of those, like fans just pick the weirdest hills to die on, man. Sometimes, and I'm just like, have you never read a She-Hulk comic? Like,
yeah, she's always been pretty open-minded, I guess.
Open-minded, voluptuous,
Very voluptuous.
Yeah. So I don't know. I read that and I was just like I'm like, why are we calling She-Hulk mommy? Like, what? I was like,
it's strange when she gets venomized that they call her mommy too. Like, that's a weird little, not to kink shame anybody, but
yeah, no, but it was just one of those where I was like, I feel dirty after reading this article.
Okay, so I just have to reverse just for a second. You mentioned the beloved Venom.
Hmm.
Remember back in the 90s when Venom was feared?
Right?
It was like, oh my God, he's gonna get Spider-Man, and you had that awesome cover with him holding Spider-Man's skull and
Right.
you know,
Drawn by Eric Larson, who, spoiler, everybody, we might be on the show soon. Shh.
Wait for
What?
January.
Shh. Right.
but I mean we've gone from fearing Venom to he's the puppy dog of the Marvel universe.
Well, everybody wants to be him now.
Yeah,
He's
Venom is more of a hero who has moments of anti-hero in him.
which
He
is
has-
understandable. He the only real hero that he hates is Spider-Man.
Right.
Everything else Venom believes. He's kind of like Bizarro in a weird way. Like he believes he's doing good
Right. So,
or bad.
all right. Well, I agree with you, Jar. We've seen this before, but it'll be interesting to see if anything new comes up. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
always for a new look at something, but I feel like we've seen like Venomized Wolverine and She-Hulk and Moon Knight. Although a Venomized Loki, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So
That is different.
yeah, we'll see.
A venomized Miss Lion.
I guess.
What's your kick with Miss Line tonight, Leo?
Yeah, I'm confused.
It's just goofy.
All right, Goof Troop. Let's keep it rolling.
Okay, so The Outsiders is back. So a universe of secrets is about to come to light. Batman protects Gotham City from evil. Batman Inc. protects the rest of the world, rest of the known world. But what of the unknown world? What of the ancient evils in hidden tombs and forgotten tragedies from the magic and mad science-fueled superheroic century? Using his fortune, Luke Fox launched a new organization dedicated to shining light into the world's darkest corners. His first recruit is going to be Kate Kane, the Batwoman, who will re-embrace her military background and protect Luke's dream and encounter every bit of strangeness the DCU has to offer. And just wait until you meet the third man or learn what universe-shattering secret they've discovered buried under Antarctica. Outsiders is a return of the comic book archaeology, digging into the all-forgotten corners of DC's history to preserve, record, and better understand the true nature of the DC multiverse and the forgotten stories that make up its fabric.
Mhm.
And so it actually came out today.
Yeah.
So if you stop by your local comic shop, you can.
That cover you were showing looked very familiar from a story we've done before.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
We've
We
talked about this
cover.
quite a bit throughout the show. First when it was announced, and then details, because I believe we've talked about how this could be kind of a play on Wildstorm's Planetary, especially with the Dreamer, who is who's you see there, who is a post Flashpoint version of the character that we saw in the Authority. Yeah, I mean, I read the preview pages. It's kind of interesting because Luke and Kate, who are still, very much molded by Batman, kind of just they're tired of Gotham. They want to handle threats differently. It's not just waiting for someone to come and burn down the city, but they want to take care of the threats they don't know about, the ones that, quote, lurk in the shadows. And I'm all for Bat people traversing the multiverse, seeing what weird shit is out there, because why not? That sounds pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Totally. And they want to get out of Gotham. They actually mentioned the Gotham War. With all the craziness that's going on.
They're like, fuck this.
Yeah, exactly. They beat feet. They got out of Gotham and just wanted to go into hiding and not deal with that shit.
It's
Who
like I
moves to
said,
Gotham?
it's
What was that, Carrie?
Who moves to Gotham? Like,
well, in the
there are
DC
people
universe,
dying.
You got to be like really dirt poor.
that Gotham is like New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why would you go to Hell's Kitchen on purpose? I get that, but it's like Gotham is a whole town instead of just a region. It's just like, just go somewhere else. It has to have
From
a high cost of living too, from everything
It is a
constantly
city,
being
yeah.
broken and then put back together. So
from
I know
what
it's because comics work, but sorry.
no, it's okay. From what I understand, I think Gotham is essentially a bigger version of Newark. So, I
Ooh. What was that show that took place like across from Gotham? It was
the
Alan
I know
Tudyk was in it.
Yeah, that was great. Where they were testing all the gadgets from Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah.
Powerless?
Oh,
Yeah.
Powerless. Yeah. And like it showed people like taking the bus and then like some supervillain flies by
Yeah.
and knocks it off.
Blows it all up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everybody's like, "Oh, it's just a Tuesday,"
Yeah.
I should have
But-
taken the train.
So again, it's another good idea, and I might definitely check it out. But we've talked about it a lot, so I figured having the preview pages that they released, why not? It's coming out.
It's out today.
Is that today? So
Out today.
if you like what you saw, buy that book.
I
I already read it.
Go
So
to your LCS. Give them money.
and
It's good.
okay.
Get things.
There's Drew mentioned something. I'm not gonna bring it up because it's a major spoiler, but yeah,
not gonna say it, but
Spoilers.
moving on.
it's a good read. And if you're not familiar, Outsiders has been around since '83. It was originally Batman and the Outsiders started with Brave and the Bold, and even Batman Inc. is considered a Outsiders team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's I think 3 or 4 different volumes so far. So
The more you know.
yeah. And that is it, my friends.
Aww.
That is the news.
Wow. I could have sworn there's one more that I really wanted to cover, but I will just say now. They released a cover for Ultimate Spider-Man issue 2 that showed what they're doing with the Green Goblin, and it's very much Sam Raimi Green Goblin inspired, and I am all for it. Because if you know Ultimate Spider-Man, in which we read the first arc, the Green Goblin is a huge part of Ultimate Spider-Man lore. So the fact that they're bringing it back and they're doing a different version to this new Spider-Man, winning. Cannot wait. Yes. So I just want to say that, everybody. Cannot wait for this book to drop in January. I am ready. And I'm going to review the core of it. So
Hold on. I do have that. Let me load it real quick so we can see the picture.
yeah,
I do not know
just
how that did not end up there.
sorry to break protocol, everybody, but my
No,
ultimate
it's-
love.
Carrie.
When I upload like 30 things at a time, sometimes it'll not load like one of them. And so I try to go back through and make sure that I got everything up. But
The horror, Carrie.
I have to load so many goddamn things.
There's so many
Stop making
fans.
variants. I'm going to send Ghost Rider after you. He's going to penance stare you until you can no longer do them. Make them as print or pieces we can buy. Here we go. Ultimate Goblin for Drew.
Check that out, kids.
Boom, boom, boom.
Look at that cover, man.
Armor.
Yeah,
Some kind of
I swear to God, I want to try to see if I can get Marco Cicchetto on the show. I've been a fan of his work ever since he did Greg Rucka's run of Punisher. And like the second he was announced as the artist, I was like, this book is gonna be gorgeous. So
Ultimate Invasion has already concluded.
already done. Ultimate Universe Presents was kind of like the follow-up leading into everything. So then the new Ultimate Universe will start with Spider-Man first, Black Panther in February, and then March with your new favorite mystery, Peach Momoko, Jeremy. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, everybody, I've seen Jeremy yawn 3 times So I think we need to wrap
Yeah, I'm getting.
Yeah.
I need another coffee.
Well, we'll wrap things up just real quick. I know we mentioned it earlier. I saw the Marvels. Absolutely loved it. The Marvels. I don't get the hate. It was awesome.
Has it been getting hate?
Yeah,
'Cause
a
it
ton of
looks great. I haven't watched it yet, but like it
it's,
looks like a fun time.
it's
John,
a lot of fun.
it's already reported as the lowest Marvel premiere in all of MCU history. So they're already looking at it negatively. So
Eh,
Yeah,
it happens.
it's the haters. It's the
Haters gonna hate, like they
yeah.
say.
For some reason, you can't have a movie with a strong female lead. In this case, 3 strong female leads, which they are perfect all together. There's a scene of them trying to perfect their powers because everything's intertwined, and it's awesome. But a lot of fun. That and Loki finale came
Loki
out,
was fantastic. Holy crap.
yeah,
That blew my mind.
yeah.
Mine
I
was
need to
blown.
binge that.
I've
Did
heard.
you watch the episode, Drew?
No, I'm guys.
Oh.
I'm super behind. I when I have time to catch up, I will sit and I will enjoy and I will review. Right now, I'm just trying to get 6 hours of sleep a night.
Well, definitely watch it because it ties into something that we read.
Cool. All right.
Well, on that note, we are going to wrap things up because everybody is tired and Drew's going to fall asleep right after the show. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. We do this live every Tuesday. We thank everybody for joining us. And, for me, just Google me. But more importantly, follow these awesome people. And, check out our YouTube page. We got a lot of awesome stuff going up there. Some, some stuff you won't see here. And also, if you don't get a chance to watch the show, I'm trying to break up as much as I can and put it as small segments. So if you don't want to stick around for the 2.5 hours, just want to get bite-sized sections, we do that as well. And we'll kick it off with we'll go to Kari.
Hey, everybody. Leo has been doing a ton of work over for the YouTube with getting up shorter versions, clips, like a smaller segment here, maybe half an hour here, minute or two here. Just a lot of content so that, like he was saying, if you don't want to watch the entire show, you can still get the informative bits and the fun stuff that we get to do every now and then. You can catch me here on Splash Pages every Tuesday. And when I'm not here, I am over on the Owlite Network with Ratatosker, and we do a bunch of storytelling types of shows there. I will always be on Sundays there. And as far as my information goes, look at Kari Sanders on Facebook, and you'll get all my links. The little avatar is a crow, so if you see that, that's me. And that's how you can get a hold of me. Let's go,
Awesome.
dude. Jeremy.
Phenomena.
No, we can't do that again. I finally got that song out of my head. No. But
My mom loved it.
everybody loved. Oh, it was great. Like, 16-year-old kid told me it was the funniest thing we've ever done. I was like, look at that.
Really?
16 years old. They didn't tell me they hated it. I was shocked.
Oh my God, that's. Can we add that to our awards?
We should be like, teenagers even sometimes like us. But let's see. If you want to hang out with me, find me on Facebook. I'm Jeremy Courtney, and we'll never meet each other in real life unless you go to a Comic-Con, but we can do this all on the internet, and it's fantastic. Let's see. I'm on Splash Pages every Tuesday night, as you see. And we're on a little bit of a hiatus with
Midweek
the
Geeks.
Midweek Geeks, as well as Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter. We're taking a little vacation, but there's still 3 or 4 episodes. I can't even remember. 3 or 4 episodes that you can check out and watch and enjoy. And hopefully the Midweek Geeks come back soon because I miss it. And over to you, Drew.
Yeah. So these fuckers exhausted me with all their yawning. Now I'm tired. But I'm Drew Mollo. I'm on Facebook. I'm handling a lot, so please don't bother me. But I love you, and I really appreciate everybody who watches and comments and tells their friends about the show. And if they even ignore you, thanks for looking out for us. I'm on Facebook, Ghostbusherman 1984, because they have to put that on the bottom every time, because I still won't change it because I like continuity, unlike comic books. I do stuff for Screen Rant, or I'm trying to. I do so much else that I don't want to talk about because I'm still tired about it. And I love and hate you all so much. So thank you for showing up. And if you didn't, change that for next week.
And then if you're listening to us in your car, thanks for the ride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, see you all next week. We'll have something great. If not, it'll at least be entertaining. So,
It's always great.
always great.
Bye,
Time to go
everybody.
sleep.